What's going on, everybody? It is I, Podcast Tribal Chief, better known as Franchise, with another installment of Russell Talk with the Franchise. I know it's been 2 weeks. Yes, it's been 2 weeks since I've been on here. I do not want to waste any time. We have a lot to dive into. Let's start off with Saturday night's main event. This episode is going to be a mix between talking about Saturday night's main event and talking about all the other stuff that's happening in the world of the WWE Universe. Is there stuff about not NXT? There is NXT talk, but not on this episode. There is AEW talk. I'm not really 100% sure I want to dive into that. There was some comments that Ricochet made recently that has sparked a lot of people. I don't want to say a lot of people. At the time, it did spark a lot of people to kind of give their 2 cents. I'm starting to notice a certain thing about Ricochet, but I don't think I'm going to give it any time this week. Depending on where he goes in the Continental Classic, or as people refer to it as the Tony Khan Continental Classic, I'll probably give more insight on my opinions on Ricochet, because it's changed over the course of time, and I think it's just telling. So let's jump into what happened this past weekend, Saturday night's main event. A lot of people thought it was going to be a premium live. They considered it to be a premium live. I never thought it was going to be that. Just because it never was. Like, even when it was back in the day, they didn't deem it as a pay-per-view because it was on NBC. It was a special event, so I can understand why people would kind of put it in that bubble, but it really wasn't. It's just a glorified house show. It's a televised house show. That's what it is. And it was decent. I did have some expectations going into this. I did have some thoughts of things that was going to happen. If you do follow the Royal Club Wrestling podcast page on Instagram, you did see that for the women's world title, I did have Tiffany Stratton in the photo, because I thought she was going to cash in. You know, the way they talked about, the way Candice LeRae was kind of getting at her on Friday night after she lost to Meacham. You got the impression, because she kind of looked at her briefcase, you kind of got the impression that she may cash in on Saturday. And that's what I thought. I legit thought we were going to get her cashing in on Saturday night's main event. I thought at the conclusion of the match, she was going to come out, she was going to do it, or make it a triple threat and win. I just had this feeling. I also had a feeling that we were going to get the return of Randy Orton. I did speak about that. I thought that maybe he'll come back Saturday night's main event, and we will get a Kevin Owens, Randy Orton kind of story. But I can possibly see Randy returning at the Rumble now, costing Kevin Owens, and then we can kind of lead into Randy Orton, as I'm still holding on hope that we still get Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Not really a lot to kind of dive into with this, other than the main event, which I'm going to dive into. And history was made with the first ever inaugural Women's United States champion being Chelsea Green. Now, I know I said earlier this is not a premium live, but I'm going to give you the premium live breakdown. So I'm going to have match of the night, OMG moment, feel good moment, and performer of the night. So with that being said, overall, I enjoyed the show. It did pay homage to a lot of the past. Obviously we did have Jesse the Body Ventura, who hasn't been in the WWE for about 40 years as far as doing something there. Like I won't say 40 years because he was a special guest referee. I believe it was a SummerSlam with Undertaker versus Stone Cold at one point. But as far as like having any type of contract or some kind, no, I believe he did sign a Legends contract with the WWE now. So it was great to see him there. Pat McAfee returned for a one-night event. I know he is coming back full-time, Triple H said, for the Netflix, Raw going to Netflix. Obviously, Pat McAfee will be the voice along with Michael Cole, which makes me think what's going to happen with Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, Corey Graves. Kind of how is this package going to look now with now you having Pat McAfee and Michael Cole over on Raw now? Where does this leave those three? And we'll just have to wait and see. But Joe Tessitore paid homage to Gene Okerlund with the red bow tie. Like I said, it was just, they paid respect to the past. It was, you didn't have the barricades like they had before. They had the traditional old school guardrails. But it just, and the refs had the old traditional long sleeve bow tie attire for a referee, so that was kind of dope. But overall, I enjoyed it for what it was worth. There is some things that is called into question. The main event happens to be one of them. I think the main event was very, I would say I did not like the ending to the main event. Because just I didn't like how Charles Robinson counted from outside the ring. Like, I don't know if something happened where he couldn't get in the ring, but he definitely like counted from outside. And I kind of was like, what? It really blew me off. And then we had the conclusion, which I would get into a little bit later. But like I said, it was for what it's worth, it was decent. My match of the night will probably be the opening match. It will have to go to Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre made his shocking return 2 weeks ago on Raw, where he attacked one Jey Uso. And then after Sami accused Seth Rollins of attacking Jey Uso, it was revealed that it was indeed Drew McIntyre when he came out and hit Sami with a Claymore. And then as you've seen this past Friday, he also hit Jimmy with a Claymore and proceeded to attack Jimmy. I will say this. 2024, as far as male wrestlers, no one had a better 2024 other than Drew McIntyre. I'm letting you guys know right now, he is indeed my male wrestler of the year, and possibly overall wrestler of the year. This man had feud of the year with CM Punk. His mic skills, what he's telling is unbelievable, but it's what happened at the Busted Open, the Busty Awards during Busted Open's holiday party. If you didn't get a chance to see it, take some time and go watch it. They actually have his segment as its own video. It's about 7 minutes. Watch what he says. And he tells a lot. He tells a lot of truth. And it goes to what a bigger story that I'm going to get into later on about the heels actually having validation behind their statements, behind their claims, behind how they feel, why they are doing what they're doing. And I'm going to quote something that I've seen years ago, and it holds true in this essence. But one thing that Drew McIntyre said on Instagram or on social media as he was done with his match was he came back into behind the gorilla and he basically said 1 down, 4 to go. So let's think about this. 1 down, 4 to go. So he is holding the bloodline. This is going back. And this is, say what you want to say about Roman Reigns. People can say they're tired of Roman. They were sick of him. The bloodline story, everything. He is the center of the WWE Universe, even if he doesn't have that title around his waist. Because let's think about it. We have Seth Rollins holding a grudge with Sammy, Jay, feeling some way about them because they sided with Roman. You have Drew McIntyre now having the same approach because they sided with Roman. Kevin Owens is stating his reason behind attacking Cody is because Cody sided with Roman. So every story, major story that's going on in the WWE, majority of it, about I say 75% of the stories that are going on in the WWE have some degree of separation with Roman Reigns. It does. So Drew McIntyre, 1 down, 4 to go. I sat there and was like, 4 to go. So I was like, Sammy was 1. So he says 4 more to go. So I'm like, okay, Jay, Jimmy, Roman, Solo? Because if his whole thing is I'm going after the original bloodline, Solo was a part of the original bloodline. As Michael Cole alluded to in the very beginning of the match, it was Solo Sikoa who cost Drew McIntyre the undisputed title at Clash at the Castle 2 years ago when Solo made his main roster debut. So is he going to go after Solo? And if he does, there is a wild Samoan by the name of Jacob Fatu. I love you, Solo. Who I don't think Drew McIntyre wants any. Listen, Drew, you don't want that smoke. I can assure you, the one person that you probably don't want to see in the ring is Jacob Fatu. Now, the one thing that I will say is Drew McIntyre is still, like, he's presented as this quote unquote heel, yet when he's doing the Claymore, he sets up the 1 or the 3, 2, like he does it, and the crowd still does they still do the countdown. So it's kind of a weird thing, because it's like, how are you technically a heel, but you're still doing shit for the crowd? Like, if I'm Drew McIntyre, I'm saying fuck the crowd. Like, fuck y'all, because y'all booed this man, and in the minute he comes back, y'all are cheering him though as if it's nothing. Like, he didn't just hold the WWE hostage for 4 years, and his bloodline did what they did and prevented me from winning this title in my home country. All this stuff. Drew McIntyre has all the valid reasons to be upset with the bloodline, but it's just like, it's been two years and you're still complaining about it. Like, you're still holding on to this grudge with the bloodline. You took a brief second, stopped to have your biggest feud of your career with CM Punk, to now come back to the bloodline. It's going to be interesting. All points lead to Roman versus Drew. And we all know what the outcome of that is going to be. So that is my match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. I am looking forward to seeing where this story goes. Now, the OMG moment of the night actually occurred outside of the Premium Live. So if you guys are aware, guys have been tuning into social media, at the conclusion of Saturday night's main event, Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes, and he delivered a package pile driver to one Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes had to get stretchered out of the arena. As you see in this video right here, Triple H and Kevin Owens even got into it, as Kevin Owens was holding the beautiful Eagle Wing belt. And Triple H and him got into it. Like, it was, you see, it was a very heated confrontation. Like, we know Triple H can't get physical with people, but he pushed Kevin Owens, like, but Kevin Owens has a right to a degree to be upset, because it was indeed a steel chair that Cody Rhodes used. Even though Kevin Owens brought it in, I understand that, but he used the steel chair, hit the crossroads on the steel chair, and got the victory. And we all know Kevin Owens, after the ref got knocked out, Charles Robinson got knocked out, Kevin Owens hit the stunner. Kevin Owens had the match won. And then when he hit the spike pile driver, or the package pile driver on Cody, the crowd was kind of cheering for Kevin Owens. Do we not remember? This is the same arena when The Rock lost to Brock Lesnar. The Rock, the fans were cheering for Brock Lesnar because these fans became tired of The Rock. And they knew he was going to Hollywood. This was it. He was just passing the title to him, and he was going to go off to Hollywood. Not saying that they know that Cody's going to go somewhere. No. But I think maybe, and I'm saying maybe, fans are starting to get Cody fatigued. It sounds crazy because some fans had Roman fatigue, but what made Roman fatigue not as bad was Roman wasn't actively in matches. He only did premium lives. He was only seen at the shows, but when it came to in ring, it was premium lives. As I've always said before, Roman Reigns became the attraction. Cody, I think, is trying to become the attraction, but still be there every week and have matches throughout that week, throughout those Fridays. He might be in a match maybe twice, 2 times a month. He's on a televised match for SmackDown. Maybe twice. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing where this goes now. Do I think Cody's going to be written off for some time? Maybe. But what's the story that you're going to tell if Cody is out for some time? If Cody is out of commission for, let's say, the next big event is the Saturday night's main event in January. I think it's January 25th in San Antonio. Do you keep him off TV roughly until then? I don't think so. There's reason why I don't think so, and I will dive into it later on. I think he comes back in 2-3 weeks. And then you get maybe him and Kevin Owens again. Maybe that's when Randy Orton comes back. I know I said I was thinking Randy Orton probably come back at Royal Rumble to screw Kevin Owens out. But we're now in this sense, we're in this bubble right now where we don't know what to expect with the story angles right now. Okay. I know that Kevin Owens is on this warpath of I'm right. He's being a menace, but like I said, he's telling some truth. He did circle when he was talking to Michael Cole in the car, not this Friday, but last Friday when he was in his vehicle. He did circle back to say, I'm going to me and Sammy's going to cross paths because don't think I did not, or don't think I don't feel the way that Sammy rejoined the bloodline. So I believe I said it before on a previous episode. We're going to get Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. That is going to happen. And it's going, the small little breadcrumb. He just said it in passing, but it's going to happen. You're not going to say these things without it following through. And that's exactly what happened with this particular situation. I'm looking I'm looking forward to seeing where this story goes. Can we go a couple weeks without him being there? Maybe. I do believe the Raw January 6th is going to be very telling for a lot of different reasons. Cody will probably be there. I'm assuring you Cody Rhodes will probably be at the Raw file on that January 6th. Feel good moment. Obviously, it has to go to our new inaugural Women's United States Champion, who I said that was who I was betting. I was betting on Chelsea. Chelsea Green is our United States Women's Champion. Well deserved. I feel though as if, listen, I've been saying it. I felt though as if she needed this title. The crowd, even though she is a quote unquote heel, and I keep saying that because you already know how I feel. I feel like there is no babyface and heels. It's just cut down the middle and the fans determine who they like, who they don't like. I know in the WWE books, they have heels, they have faces, but I sincerely feel though as if the fans are like, this is how we feel. And Chelsea Green, the fans are behind her. Okay, she put in work, she's put in time, she's done it all. She's been a butt of all jokes. She puts on these epic matches, like legit. She's a part of matches that have literally been like, some will probably say have been match of the nights, and she has been a part of it. She's had a significant moment in there that kind of says, okay, she kind of not stole the match, but she had her moment. And to see her win this title is what is needed. I did see somewhere where they said that these titles, obviously the United States, and I'm going to get into the Women's Intercontinental title tournament that is happening over there on Raw. These are not the titles that are going to be solidified by having a Bayley, a Becky, a Charlotte, a well-established person already winning the title. This is the underdog title. This is the title for the, I don't want to call it the workhorse, but it is a workhorse title. We all know the Intercontinental title is the workhorse title. The United States title is the mid-card title. It's the title for the person that is one step closer to being a heavyweight champion or a world champion. That's what these titles are for. These titles is to say, okay, if we give you this, how are you going, like, how can you can either rise to the occasion, or it could just be, you're going to just stay right here. And that's what this title is for. You know, I remember when me and the Ace was talking, you know, when we were doing Royal Club, and I used to say, maybe they need to bring back the Divas title. And the reason why I said the Divas title is because you had, and this is during the McMahon era, you still had the women in the locker room that still had like they were still more in the diva mindset rather than the women's wrestling mindset, you know, and I did say that maybe you can have, I think I maybe said Chelsea. I definitely said Mandy, but then Mandy proved herself to be solid. Carmella, that's who it was. It was Carmella that was just like, maybe you get the Divas title for like a Carmella because she kind of still fits that bubble of being that stereotypical diva. But that's not the case. Congratulations goes out to Chelsea Green. I'm going to talk about the women's Intercontinental title later on. But the performer of the night, I honestly, I don't have a winner. I don't have a performer of the night. I don't. It's very hard. Like, this one really was like I said, it was, for what it was worth, it did what it was supposed to do. But I will run through the list of winners, though, as you all know. Drew McIntyre, as we know, he was victorious in his match. Liv Morgan retained her women's world title, and we see that her and Rhea Ripley seem to be hinting of another matchup. I see a lot of people are hoping that this ends January 6th at the debut on Netflix. Gunther retained his world title in his triple threat match. And this is what I would say about Gunther's matches. Gunther has a switch, okay? And what I mean by that is, if you really pay attention to any of Gunther's matches, he has a switch where he's like, I'm tired of, fuck this shit, I'm tired of it, and just annihilates his opponent. He did it on Saturday. He hit Damian Priest with the powerbomb. It almost looked scary for a moment because he didn't really have a full grip of Priest, and it could have went bad, but Gunther managed some girth, hit him with the powerbomb, rolled in the ring, hit him with that drop kick, powerbomb Finn Balor, got the 1, 2, 3. Gunther retained. So congratulations goes out to Gunther. Kind of interested to see where we go with him as far as the title reign goes, who's his next opponent. And obviously Cody Rhodes retained the undisputed WWE Championship. I do know that on WWE Shop, they are releasing the Wing Eagle belt for Cody Rhodes. It is a signed one. I am not getting it because it's signed, and I know it costs an arm and fucking leg. It was a one night only thing, so rest assured Cody Rhodes is not going to be donning the Wing Eagle belt moving forward. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about what's happening in the WWE Universe as we are going into the new year. I was just talking about it. Netflix debut of WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw, January 6th. And it appears though as if we may get a match that is WrestleMania bound. It was supposed to happen at the Showcase of the Immortals. Seth freaking Rollins going up against CM Punk. This is rumored. Nothing has been confirmed. It is going around the wrestling community. Basically, this is going to happen at the Raw on January 6th. Do I feel like this is a little premature? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I want to see this happen? You got to listen. This is big for them, so they're going to set records with this. And how do you do this? You do it by potentially having a WrestleMania-like match take place January 6th. Because they're already teasing. We already seen the past 2 weeks on Raw. First week, when CM Punk came back after Survivor Series War Games, after successfully defeating the Rogue Bloodline with the OG Bloodline, because he did this favor for Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman now owes CM Punk a favor. CM Punk showed up that Monday, and he pointed to the imaginary sign and said, y'all know what the point means, and that means a ticket to WrestleMania, whether it's through the Royal Rumble, whether it's through the Elimination Chamber. His goal is to main event one of the nights at WrestleMania. And lo and behold, anytime CM Punk is talking, Seth freaking Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins came out, they exchanged some words. Next thing you know, they end up in the most weirdest fights we've seen. Then, obviously, this past Monday, we seen CM Punk have a one-on-one interview with Jackie Redmond, and he basically alluded to his side of the story between him and Seth Rollins. And he basically said, I don't have an issue with Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins has an issue with me and all this stuff. And then we seen later on, Seth Rollins came out, and Seth Rollins stated his claim to why he dislikes CM Punk. And it slightly reminds me of MJF versus CM Punk. I've said this before. I will continue to say this. CM Punk is doing the stories that he wanted to do in AEW. He's doing it in the WWE. And the reason it is going to be successful is because the egos are put to side. They are telling truth, but they're doing it for the betterment of the program. This is what we wanted to see with him in AEW. We wanted to see him tell these great stories. But people got too much in their feelings. They couldn't separate business from personal. And they did, and we're getting it now with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. This is going to be epic. I kind of wish, though, we just saved it for WrestleMania. And someone brought up a valid point and said that CM Punk and Seth Rollins kind of have a similar walk. Very similar. But I'm looking forward, if this does happen, I'm looking forward to it. But I can assure you one thing, one match that is confirmed for January 6th. Tribal Chief versus Tribal Chief in Tribal Combat. We have Solo Sikoa going up against the OTC for the Ulafala. I said this when Roman Reigns came back. I said it, I believe, even prior to him coming back, that the most important thing in this story with this bloodline, this chapter, this segment of this story, the most important thing is indeed that Ulafala. Roman Reigns they released a package with Roman Reigns that I swear to you is between the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at the 50-yard line at the Georgia Tech field to the sit down with Roman Reigns and CM Punk with Paul Heyman there, to now this package where Roman Reigns explains why and explains the year since April till now, what has happened with his family. When the man said the most important thing in my world is my family. in the Ulafala. He said, I earned the Ulafala. My father, my uncle, your great uncles bestowed me with that Ulafala because they knew I was the one to lead this family. You did not earn that Ulafala. You did not earn it. You took it. Let's separate. Let's keep the family. Let's keep the bloodlines to the side. And let's compete in tribal combat. But there's going to be a catch. There's going to be a catch. That catch could possibly be the return of the final fucking boss. I know there's rumors, there's all this speculation that the WWE is moving forward with the idea that The Rock is not going to compete or be available at WrestleMania 41, in which I say to them, I say to everybody, this is one of the reasons why I disdain what he did at Bad Blood, because now what's happening is you have people suspecting this is what's going to happen. Even though they did say last week, it was rumored, or it is being reported, not rumored, it is being reported that Cody Rhodes and The Rock cut promos, cut video packages while on the set of Moana, the live action. The Rock and Cody Rhodes indeed supposedly did this. So are we going to get The Rock returning at the Raw for two important situations? Cody Rhodes and his bloodline. Are we going to finally see that The Rock is indeed the one who appointed Solo as the tribal chief, because he is now in the position of being the elder, and now he has asserted himself as high chief, as I've always said he was going to do, and now we're going to get Rock declaring one or two things. He's declaring his eyes on Cody Rhodes and that belt. So we may possibly see The Rock and Cody at Royal Rumble. Possibly. And if we get that to happen, and let's just say Rock wins, now we have The Rock against Roman, because it's being rumored again that Roman Reigns is set in 2025 to have another historical title run. So are we going to see not only the undisputed title on the line, but we're going to see who is going to be the high chief, the head of the table in the bloodline? Roman Reigns versus The Rock. I've always said this does not need a title. Does not need a title. Because it's competing for something bigger than the title. And that is, it is a title. It's not the strap. It is the Ulafala. It is the head of the table. It is the tribal chief. It is the high chief. It is whatever chief you want to refer to it as. But they are competing for that spot, that number one spot. Who can lead the Anoa'i family into the future? Now, Something else that everybody has been alluding to is the going back, the favor. And everybody thinks Paul Heyman is going to turn on Roman Reigns because CM Punk is going to say your favor is to screw Roman or to betray Roman and come with me. I don't see that happening. I'm probably one of the few that is not in the belief that that's going to happen, because I think, one, it's typical. Because everybody's thinking that. I don't think it's going to happen because everybody is assuming that that's going to happen. So because everybody is assuming it's going to happen, I don't see it happening. What I see happening is I see Paul Heyman in a compromising position. And CM Punk is telling him, you need to side with me. You need to screw him over and be with me. And Paul Heyman's not going to do it. And I will explain why. Paul Heyman remembers CM Punk left him. And for 7-8 years, CM Punk and Paul Heyman in story never spoke. Brock Lesnar left Paul Heyman. Remember the promo that Paul Heyman cut when he first aligned himself with Roman Reigns? They left me for dead, and Roman Reigns brought me back. He owes Roman Reigns everything right now. Because if it wasn't for Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman would not be in the WWE right now, in story. He knows, because there is a lineage with Paul Heyman in that family, dating back to his father. Paul Heyman is more connected with that family than he is with anybody else. Paul Heyman is damn near family to him. I don't see that happening. I see a switch. And I see him not turning on him because that's his tribal chief. He wouldn't be where he is right now if it wasn't for his tribal chief. So everybody's thinking that he's going to turn. I don't see that happening. Not at all. Not at all. Before I wrap up, let's dive into some quick hits. The Women's Intercontinental Title tournament has been underway with Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyrie winning. I have Dakota Kai as our inaugural Intercontinental Women's Champion. I do. I had Zelina as a dark horse, but as we all know, Zelina Vega did lose. So my betting odds is Dakota Kai. There's a quote. I'm off of that. I'm off the Intercontinental title. Now I'm on to this. There's a quote I seen years ago. I seen this. Childhood is when you idolized Batman. Adulthood is when you realize the Joker makes more sense. Childhood is when you idolized baby faces. Adulthood is when you realize heels make more sense. That is where we're at in the world of the WWE. We are seeing that the heels are making more sense than the baby faces are. Insert the New Day. The New Day celebrated their 10-year anniversary, their 10 years of existence. And how did they celebrate it? They celebrated with the tease of separating, and then Big E appeared. If you have not yet read the Players Tribune article that Big E did, take some time, go read it. It's a great article. Big E comes out, Big E states, I'm coming to manage you guys. I'm here to make it work. Fix it. And Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston both kind of said, now? You're doing this now. You could have been here by our side. I tore my Achilles, Xavier Woods, and I came back 9 months faster because we needed to be a strong unit collectively. Big E, you didn't even have to require surgery on your neck. And you've been ghosted. You haven't been around. You've been doing your desk job. You've been enjoying your relationship, your new girlfriend who happens to be Mia Yim Meacham's sister. You're doing all of this. You forgot about us. You abandoned us, as Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods told him. And they're right. He did. I remember sitting here sometimes thinking to myself, like, why is Big E not ringside? Why is he not managing? And I did say maybe it's because, he's like, I just can't do it because it doesn't feel right. I miss being in the ring. I miss it. You could have still been a part of it, though. And now we're here. So are we going to eventually see Big E's return? Is this the arch story that brings Big E back? Are we going to possibly see Big E at the Royal Rumble? I know people are saying that WWE officials are declaring that Big E is not going to be able to come back in the ring. But could this all be a part of the story? We all know that the original plan was for Otis Jones to come in and be the replacement for Big E. And then it was going to turn them, according to reports, they were going to then turn heel. There's a lot of Dragon Ball Z references in there. This right here is the arch tale for Xavier Woods. This moment here is going to make or break Xavier Woods. He is already, as far as the group goes, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Kofi Kingston was already a Hall of Famer before he joined in the New Day. This could make or break Xavier Woods because we are seeing Xavier Woods in a space, in a place that we haven't seen him before. I mean, New Day is getting Dominic Mysterio heat now, where they can't even talk on the mic because the crowd is booing them, because they did something to a brother. They did something to their brother. They did something to Big E, and the fans love Big E, and they loved the New Day until they did what they did. But as I said about Kevin Owens, As I said about Drew McIntyre, I will even say it about Seth Rollins. Even though Seth Rollins is not a heel as of yet, they all have valid points with their arguments about who they're going against. And it all makes sense. We idolized baby faces growing up. We loved the Hulk Hogan's. We loved the Ultimate Warriors, the Bret Harts, the Shawn Michaels. Then as we got older, we realized the Ric Flairs, the Stone Colds, the Rocks, Undertakers maybe. We realized all the bad guys that these people were feuding with, they made more sense. They did. Anytime I mention Hulk Hogan, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to say, fuck him. Either way it goes, that's how I feel, because you know how I feel about Hulk Hogan. He's a piece of shit. But the John Cena's. Fans idolized John Cena. Then they understood Randy Orton. They understood Edge. They understood all the people that was feuding with him. They're like, oh, they make more sense. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say this. We are in a state now where the line has been drawn. And I don't think that we can make a clear-cut indication on who's babyface and who's heel. I think it's all for the fans to decide, not for the big, not for the company, not for the business, but the fans. That would do it for this episode of Wrestle Talk with the Franchise. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought about Saturday night's main event. What do you think is going to happen moving forward, especially going into the new year? If we do get the Seth Rollins CM Punk match, how do you think that's going to fare out? I don't even know how that's going to fare out, to be honest with you, because I don't know how can you determine a winner with that. What do you think about the New Day? What do you think about the Tribal Combat? You know, who is going to come out as the Tribal Chief? Are we going to see the final boss at the Raw, the first Raw of the new year, with this big deal with the Netflix? Let me know in the comments. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to this channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell at the top. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram at RCW_podcast. Also follow the Ace as well, RCW_Ace. I will be back with some new content next week. And I will also be donning a special shirt for next week because it's the holiday season. Till then, I am the Franchise. I am out. It's been real. Later.